Remember when Paramount was in exclusive negotiating window with Skydance and Sony?
I remember that.
Yeah, made a public offer to buy Paramount for $26 billion. Well, according to NBC News, they may have changed their minds and may now only want part of Paramount or none of it at all. Rob, how big of a blow would this be to Paramount if Sony were to back out now?
I think it would be, you know what? I don't necessarily think Sherry Redstone wants to sell Paramount. I think she kind of wants to, she seems to be driving a hard bargain. You know, there's been a couple of suitors that are perfect for them. But yeah, Sony doesn't really need Paramount. And I don't know what Apollo, their partners, are looking to do. But maybe it would be a blow. I mean, I think it would definitely bolster Paramount stock for a sale. I don't want to see that lot sold. I don't want to see it parted out. And I think Sherry Redstone wants to make sure that whoever buys it is not just going to Gordon Gekko the thing and break it apart like Blue Star Airlines.
I'll tell you what, if Sony backs out of this deal, it is catastrophic for Paramount. And I'll tell you why, because I think most people all acknowledge right now, Paramount has to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not on good enough financial footing that they're going to survive if they don't have a sale. So here's why I think Sony backing out would be catastrophic. Not because I think Sony needs to buy them, but they entered into an exclusive, as Jonathan pointed out, they entered into this exclusive 30-day window with Skydance. It kind of looked like everybody was feeling good that they might make a deal, right? And then Skydance put out what they said was their final and best offer, and Paramount and their leadership team were going to go over it and all that kind of stuff. Now, in the midst of that, that's when Sony came along and made a public statement saying, because remember, Paramount was in an exclusive 30-day window to only talk to Skydance. They couldn't talk to Sony. So Sony comes out and makes this big public statement. We're willing to buy Paramount outright for $26 billion. Well, the 30-day exclusive window with Skydance, it's not a coincidence, ended without a deal. And now Paramount's been looking at Sony as this $26 billion thing. So here's why it's catastrophic if Sony backs out now. Because if Sony backs out now, they are in a significantly weaker position to even talk to Skydance than they were before. Because Skydance was like, hey, we made you an offer and you said no thanks, which they had the right to do. And you went off because you had a better deal on the table. Well, that deal's gone now. I don't think our final best offer to you before is our offer anymore. I think it's lower than what it was now. You know why? Because now we know you're desperate. Now we know you don't have any other options. Now we know you don't have other suitors coming around knocking on your door to marry your daughter who's getting to the age that she's going to be a spinster if you don't marry her off quick. That's what's going on. It's like if Jonathan and Ray both wanted to buy my Stanley Cup. This is the closest thing to it. It's literally called Stanley Cup.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the closest to a Stanley Cup that a Toronto Maple Leaf fan will ever get to. But if they both wanted it, and Ray's like, oh, I'll give you $10 for it. I'm like, oh, really, $10? And Jonathan, I'll give you 12. And Ray's like, I'll give you 15. I'm like, oh, Jonathan, what about you? What's your next offer? And then Ray says, oh, wait a minute, I'm not interested in the cup anymore. I go, well, Jonathan, your last offer was $12. Nah, not anymore. Now my offer's $5.
Yeah, it was
because you got
superseded.
nobody else offering to buy it, and I know I can get it from you for a steal. If Sony, and by the way, it's not been made official that Sony's backing out. They may just change the deal. Like Jonathan pointed out, they may, now they're saying maybe we're only interested in buying parts of Paramount, or they may back out together. But Rob, I'm telling you, if they back out, Paramount's screwed. Like they're screwed. They at least need Sony, even if Sony comes back with a lower offer, they at least need to have two people contending for them to keep a price somewhat reasonable. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think you might be right, but I just don't like the idea of Paramount being sold and then broken up into. I mean, keep the studio. They're talking about selling off the lot, and I guess they wouldn't need it because they have their own lot. Like I don't know what you do. I just losing another studio. We're cutting down the availability of places to go with projects, and I don't know. But I think you're right. I think they're going to have to sell. It's inevitable. I just don't want to see Paramount disappear.
Now, I've seen some people already saying, well, wait a minute, if Sony made the offer, they can't change the offer. Remember, when Sony made the offer public, they specifically said in it, This is a non-binding offer. In law, let me take you to law school here for a second. In law, you need a couple of things for a contract to actually exist. The three key ones, the three key elements that have to be there are offer, acceptance, and consideration. For a contract to be legal, one person needs to make an offer, but the offer is not legally binding until the other person accepts. So there has to be offer, acceptance, and there has to be consideration. Consideration means something that's in exchange for. Normally that's money. So if I say to Ray, hey, Ray, I'll come and wash your car. And Ray says, yes, that's great. Offer, acceptance, but no consideration, so it's not legally binding. Not legally binding. By the way, there's another thing in there called capacity. So Ray can't sell my Stanley Cup to Jonathan because he's not the owner of the cup. He has no capacity to do that. And there's a few other things as well. So there's not a binding contract between Sony and Paramount. Just because Sony came out and said, we'll give you $26 billion, they're not bound by that. So we'll see how this all kind of shakes out. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved to feel them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Paramount might be screwed, which I hate that because I really like Paramount a lot. But do you think Sony's going to go through with the offer? Do you think they're going to pull out? Do you think they're just going to offer for some of Paramount? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.